24 hours later.
What are three values you both think are paramount?
I think we're both very purposeful, intentional people. So that's definitely a value that we live by in our household as well. Humility, I think I agree with that.
You think I'm humble?
No.
No, you think I'm humble?
Yeah?
That's good.
I think you're bougie.
Bad and bougie.
I think you're
Humble, yeah,
a
that's good.
snob when it comes to branded food. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I think and we're all about building experiences. Is that a value?
Yeah, you can buy your experience.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Innit? This is what we're going with: humility, purposeful, intentional living, and building experiences, life experiences.
Living in the moment.
Kind of. I'm trying to do that.
Oh, okay. But you value that though?
Yeah, I do value it. Okay.
I don't know.
How the hell do you keep the spark alive now you have Isabella? How do we keep the spark alive now that we have Isabella? The first thing to say is that, you know, we're only 1 year into it, and I think that first year when you first become parents, like you're just two new complete people, because before that you weren't parents, you've got new identities, and so having to adjust to that, adjusting to the hormones, getting used to like caring for another person who's all up in your space all the time. Don't be, you know, alarmed or whatever when things start to become a little bit strained. Like it's natural to happen, isn't it? You're adjusting. It's an adjustment period. And so and so if you're having some time when you're not feeling so sparky, just be, you know, kind to yourself, it will come back. So being patient is one thing. Second thing, communication. Because you know what, you can like really resent your partner if you feel like someone's getting more sleep than you, and so you just got to communicate about what you need. I'm just saying, it happens. Listen, if you're out there and if you're like the breastfeeding like mom, it just happens sometimes. Like someone else might get more sleep and it might make you resentful, but it's just important to communicate these things, that things feel equal. So that's one thing, you know, helps.
Yeah. I do remember for at least the first 2 to 3 weeks we were both up at the same time when you were breastfeeding her.
Yeah.
And then we realised I ain't got no breasts.
No titties! No titties! No titties! Not you, me. I'm talking about me. My titties are gone.
So why am I getting up?
Yeah, that's fine. So we realised that, so you just didn't get up anymore. That don't matter. 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm sat there, I still feel it. But anyway,
Cool.
But yeah, so that's just to say, you know, it's all right if the spark goes a little bit in such a big adjustment period. But what has helped us?
I think you need to be...
Bedtime.
Bedtime is definitely...
Bedtime.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, listen.
That's a very good shout.
Listen, and it was hard getting this bedtime, you know. Our daughter goes to bed at 7. Sometimes she doesn't go down, like, smoothly. Sometimes, often she doesn't go down smoothly. Recently, she's been better.
That is a mad shout, actually.
Isn't it? Bedtime. Don't think... Listen, because before, you need to have some time for the two of you. That child, especially like if you're co-sleeping, that I know a lot of people are, or you know your kid gets up early, or they're the kind of child that just wants to be attached to you 24/7, like my daughter is. You get like touched out, and then you feel like you don't have any more time to give to your partner or anything like that. We built this bedtime, and she goes to bed at 7, and that just gives us some time in the evening. And if we feel like we need more time, we can stay up late, even though we know we've got early mornings, we might be tired, but we can put that time aside for each other, isn't it? The bedtime.
Yeah, nice.
Get your house back, get your time back, and then you can build on that spark. Make sure you have date nights.
But I think that...
In lockdown, it's been a bit mad. The date nights have been a bit all over the place.
But I think because what I was going to say, obviously the bedtime, date nights, like you're saying, be really intentional. Like pushing through the barrier as well. Pushing through your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like you might not feel comfortable to do something, but doing that may help the whole situation.
I think it's like all sorts of things, isn't it? Making time to be intimate with each other is obviously really important. Like you're married, you're not just friends. And sometimes, you know, when you've got a kid, you feel like you're in this partnership, raising this child, keeping this child alive, and you forget about all the other things. But what makes someone a married, husband and wife compared to just two friends or just two people like living together, roommates. You've got to make time for intimacy, but also make sure you stay connected. So you know something that we've been good at doing. No matter what, we've always got something happening, a new project or something that we're like wanting to work on or do, isn't it? We've always got something, but we never, even if it's like primarily somebody else's thing, like I know Raph's got an exam or Raph's got going for a job interview or I've got an exam or a new project. It doesn't matter. We're in it together. We do everything together. So like when I'm revising for exams, and literally from one of our first dates when we first started dating, Raph came and helped me revise. So when I've got an exam, Raph's got an exam. When Raph's got an interview, I've got an interview. When we work on a new project, so like everything, we talk about everything. We don't lose each other. We're not like, we're on the same journey together. Even when it's individual things that are happening, we make sure we're all there in it. Like when we get home from work, we take some time to like, you know, debrief, talk about the day, and I tell him about all the things that were on my mind, what I'm with my patients. Raph's like half a doctor. I'm half a teacher because Raph come home and tell him about his students and his colleagues and stuff, and we talk about things because we're in life together. And I think that's what keeps the connection.
It is all good things about my colleagues, though.
Huh?
It is all good things about my colleagues.
Excellent things about his colleagues. Wonderful things. But yeah, just stay connected.
Yeah.
Stay connected.
How has dealing with conflict changed over time? What have you learned?
Okay. I think conflict has changed a lot over time for us because in the beginning we didn't have conflict.
I'm not saying that I'm a stranger to conflict, but because I don't know. People disagree. People have different opinions, and I'm absolutely cool with that. So I usually just like to keep it moving. So I respect and keep it moving. But I guess the conflict comes when it's different, like in the workplace or just on road. Like, okay, cool, blink and it's over. You move on in it. Whereas this, you can't just. I can't just be like, all right then, and move on. So, how do we deal with it, or how has it changed?
Yeah, so conflict's changed because now we have some in it. Before, a lot of it as well is because we're a very like yes couple. So before we had Isabella, everything, listen, if there's anything you want to do, we're like, yeah, let's make it happen. We do everything in it. If Raph wanted to go somewhere, the only reason he would check it with me is to make sure it doesn't clash something in the diary. I was never the kind of wife that would be like, no, where are you going tonight? Or like, need to get permission from the missus. That just wasn't a thing. We were just like, do your thing. And we were just...
You hear that, man, them? Yeah.
We would just keep it moving. But now we have another person in it. And so like, everything's changed. And so sometimes you might feel... and it's just that whole thing of way in which you communicate. A lot of our conflict comes from feeling disrespected. Yeah? Like the tone of voice or the way something was said.
Now I've upset you? What did I say?
Not what you said, it's just the way you said it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot of our conflict is about, you know, how things were perceived, the way it was said, how it made me feel, you know, that kind of stuff. And we've just really spent some time, because it's been tough like the last year, not, you know, mad tough, but it's been like hard last year. And so especially the end of last year, we've just made sure to take some time to talk about all the stuff that's been bothering us, get it all out there, talk about how we communicate, what bothers us, and just be open, be candid about it. And that's how we're dealing with it at the moment. Sometimes still, you know, in the moment when we're annoyed, things might not be perfect, but we've learned to not just leave it there and just hold on to it. We talk about it at some point.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
Yeah, basically. Don't be scared, just chatting it. Like, we're in this for life. What do you love about each other? That's a nice one.
I always say the way you think, innit? Like your head, your brain. Like, yeah, one thing that I really like, because especially when I was younger, I was the type of guy to be like, yeah, I always know the right answer. Like, I know everything. But there's been so many times where, not that I'm like, yeah, I know what's going on, but I feel like I'm a lot more open now in terms of, yo, babe, like, I ain't got a clue how to do this or whatever. And Amanda will be like, oh, have you tried it this way? Or Amanda will come over and start like pressing buttons and that. And it'll just work and she'll just find the answer. And I'm just like, but I'd have never thought to do that. Like if I'm in a room full of buttons and there's a big red button in my head, I'm like, don't touch the big red button. Whereas Amanda will walk in and be like, oh, big red button.
Ooh, what does this button do?
Boom. And then the thing works, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
You know what that makes me think of? So we were in, every story's about holiday. You know what? We love to travel. It's just, we work very hard, and so we love to travel. But I remember we were on holiday in Orlando, and we we'd hired these cars, like muscle cars.
Oh yeah, the muscle cars.
And like you're supposed to be able to start it using the key fob. And we were with some friends, and they couldn't do it, like, he couldn't do it, and I was like, oh, let me try it. And nobody wanted to let me try. I was like, let me try it, and then pass me the keys, and straight away in it. I was like, yeah, I just know how to do things.
So yeah, I like the way that your mind works. I love that you can cook. I love that you're organised. I haven't been. Obviously, I'm older. But I'm pretty sure in the 8, 9, 10 years.
Which one is it?
It's one of those ones. What is it? 10 years? 9 years. In the 9 years that I've known you, I've been on more holidays in those 9 years than I have in the rest of my entire life.
Because I plan.
Yeah. So yeah, no,
I make it happen.
The fact that you're organised is really good. I love that you're driven, that you're supportive, that you believe in me. I wouldn't be where I am now without you. So,
oh, thanks.
And I love that you find me hilarious.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know, I'm pretty sure I said this the other day. I was chatting to the marketing crew, and I was like, yeah, like, Amanda laughed at my joke, and I was like, yep, she's the one. Yeah, I need to be with someone that finds me funny, so yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I do love that about you. You are funny. Even at the most inappropriate times.
That's when it's funniest.
I guess, yeah. But there's so much that I love about you. I love that. Now, Raph, he's the kind of person that he doesn't do things without a reason. It's pretty cool. Like, even simplest things like putting his sock on, you'll watch the way that he'll do something. I'm not saying necessarily putting his sock on, but you'll watch the way he puts sock on, and you're like, why did you put your sock on like that? Like, how random? Like, it just seems like the randomest way. And then you're like, oh, because, you know, if you put it on like this, your big toe don't get stuck. And that's probably a terrible example, but he's just got a reason for everything. Like, you're very purposeful with what you do. It's nice. You think about things. You really challenge me. Your views on things, I don't know anyone else that has some of the views that you have, and you'll stick by them in it, and you'll express them, and you won't be afraid to do that, and you'll challenge somebody's viewpoint. I love his confidence. I love your confidence, and that you make friends really well. Like, you're a good guy in it. You make friends really well. I like that. What else do I like about you? I like your way with words. He's a poet, you know. He's written me a lot of poetry over the years, and yeah, I love the way that you do that. I like how caring you are. So I love how caring you are. That's what we're asking, isn't it? Yeah, I love the way that you love me and Isabella. Yeah. And I love that I guess it could sound negative to some people, but you're very hard-headed. You know what I mean? Like, you stick something, when you're convicted in something, you stick with something. I remember you said before...
Tenacious.
Oh, tenacious.
That's tenacity.
That is the word. Sorry, that's better. Not hard-headed. But yeah, he is very tenacious. And little things like, I remember when we first started, like, I think when we first got married or when we were engaged or something, you were like, when people say they have an argument and then, like, you go and sleep on the sofa, no! We're not doing that. We're not, like, do you know what I mean? You're like, it doesn't matter. No matter what happens, we are getting in bed together. He's going to kiss me goodnight. Like, yeah.
I think that's why I decided that we need to get a really big bed.
We do have a really big bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love all of that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Cool.
I appreciate that. How did you decide on starting a family?
Ooh, okay.
So, like I said before, Amanda is very organised. So she told me when, and I said, yeah, okay.
Okay, fine. But But no, so we always wanted a family, isn't it? The amount of times we talk about our kids and this, like we always are just talking about our kids, aren't we? Like before, like we've always wanted a family, so that wasn't a question. It was just something that we both had a desire to have. But then knowing when to do it, there's just a vision that I had for when we had children, and that was that I'd be quite present and there. And so when I was in the period of life where I was doing a lot of rota work, like on-calls, night shifts and weekends, I just couldn't imagine having a child in the midst of that. And I knew that I wanted to do GP. I knew that that was the road I was going down, and so I just waited until I'd finished my training. I'd done all my exams before having a baby so that we could be more stable, and because I've done everything like very much straight through, I'm still quite young, so I could afford to just wait for that time to happen. And that was really what we were waiting on. And also Raph, he says he's like gems. I think he's got a way with words in it. Like sometimes he comes out with these gems of like phrases, or like some kind of like lesson. And and then he forgets it. But once we were out for lunch with my little cousin and her boyfriend at the time, and I remember they were talking about kids and stuff, and we were like, no, you're too young, like don't be doing that right now if you can help it. And then Raph was like, why would you want to, like, obviously you can climb what do you say, you can climb a wall. I shouldn't ask him, you don't remember. He's like, say you've got a wall that you've got to climb, it's easier if you have two hands to climb it. But if you've got one hand, if you only got one hand to climb it because you've got a baby in the other hand, think about how much more difficult that would be. And that was the thing. We just knew that when we wanted to be parents, we wanted to have so much time for them. Do you know what I mean? We wanted it to be all about them, and that's why we made sure that, you know, we were married for like nearly 5 years before she came along. Yeah. I think we got pregnant when we were 4 years. We'd been married like 4 years when we got pregnant. And so we'd had that time together. Raph had finished his training in university. I'd finished my training, my exams, and then we had her. And so we'd done a lot of our foundation building so that now we can concentrate on her. And so it's just that the timing lined up. We weren't like prepared per se, like the best finances, and we'd had like, you know, some revelation or anything. It was literally no more on calls, no more exams.
Yeah, no, I think the main thing was we knew, like you say, we knew kind of what we had in mind. So we knew we were going to have our selfish years where we just wanted to do like our own thing and be able to just focus on us solely. We had like I said, we love travelling, so we had a year that was just dedicated to travel. So after we'd done
that was the YOLO year.
And after that, yeah, because we said yes to a lot of stuff.
We said yes to everything that year.
So after that, it was kind of like that was kind of like the goodbye tour or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we knew all the things that we wanted to get, or the things that we wanted to achieve before we had kids, and I guess the traveling throughout the year, it was like, yeah, because I remember actually when we were on our way home from Thailand, I can remember you like was chatting, and you was like, oh yeah, I could be pregnant by July.
And I was
like,
oh, wasn't it?
As in, because we were always talking about it, I was like, yeah, like we'll have
it just kind of
we'll have a kid in like 5 years, we'll have a kid in 4 years, in 3 years, in 2 years. And then when you said that in that January, oh yeah, like could be pregnant by July, I was like, mad.
But literally, it was that, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was always designed. When we got married, and obviously we moved in together, Amanda had all the folders. Year 1, year 2, year. No, I'm joking.
I did not.
No, I'm joking. But
yeah.
But yeah, like it was. I guess it was always planned. So yeah.
Yeah, and then luckily our plans lined up with God's, because you can plan to have a baby, but you know how easy it would be. We don't know how easy it'd be for the next kids and everything. But that's how Isabella came along.
Yeah, it was very. But I'm saying, like, you planning it, so it was like, oh, we're gonna have a kid now, and we had a kid.
But you can't
immediately.
Yeah, we did have a kid immediately, but you can't. But you know, it's a different journey for everybody. But that was just ours.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you planning it. So I'm saying when you plan, it happens.
We can't always say that, but so far that has been the case. Yeah. So that was our Q&A. I really hope you enjoyed, got to know us a little bit better. I'm sure that he will be back for more videos. I think next we might record our birth story. I know usually people do birth stories just like the woman by themselves, but I can't remember that. So you're going to have to join me for that one too.
Cool.
Okay.
We should have discussed payment before, innit? I am getting paid.
Okay, so on that note, that's the thing you have to discuss off camera. Anyway, I hope you're all well and take care.